Hey everybody, welcome back to day 2. Breakfast with Bob from beautiful Edmonton, Canada. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Master Spas, SFuels Go Longer, Quintana, HOKA One One, Forum Smart Swim Goggles, Zoot Sports, the original triathlon brand, Premium Plus Sports, and our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest, 2-time Alcatraz champion, Olympian, Ashleigh Gentle. How are you doing?
I'm well, thanks, Bob. How are you?
I am spectacular. And I am looking at 2022, and you won, we were down there when you won Clash Miami, which was really fun. Oceanside, you got 70.3 there. You're 4th there. Challenge Championship in Samarin 5th. Elsinore, in the Europeans, you were 2nd, and then you won Andorra. So you're transitioning to this long stuff and doing really well.
Yeah, it's been fun. I guess, it wasn't that long ago I saw you in Clash Miami, and I guess, I was just starting the year off pretty early, and I had those races planned, and it's been super fun, and I've been enjoying it.
And how do you compare it to when you were racing ITU? Is there a besides obviously the distances, but what's the major difference for you?
Yeah, it is really different, and I think that I guess you're very independent when you go across to middle distance or long distance racing. I've been in the Triathlon Australia system and the high performance world for so long now, and you had people helping you with training camps and logistically and getting to races, and obviously I was always very grateful for that, and you could travel the world in that way, represent your country, and then you're pretty much kind of on your own when you transition. you gotta figure out things for yourself, but that also comes with a lot of freedom and a lot of choice in what races you're doing. So, I chose those races that you mentioned because they interested me, and I thought the courses might be fun. And obviously I went from the championship, which was, dead flat, out and back, the Clash Miami, which was technical and hot, Elsinore was a bit rolly, Andorra, which was like mountainous. So I think that has been really fun because I can kind of work out, what I'm good at and how I'm going, and challenge myself over different courses. Well, this sort of is a little bit of a flashback for you because you're in Edmonton, this 2011 here, your first World Cup win? Yeah, when I was, 20 or something, it was my first World Cup win, and a bit of a breakthrough after having a really successful junior career. So, it's really fun to come back. I've had plenty of memories here, lots of World Series races, lots of different conditions and a few different courses, but always down at Horrelek Park where we'll be on Saturday. Right. So definitely a flashback. And you've had some World Series podiums here, so there's good memories from this place. Yeah, generally Canada is a place I've loved racing, and I've always enjoyed the races. Yes. And they love triathlon here, so it's great to be back and great to see that PTO can get the race here on the weekend. Well, and it's $1 million prize purse. Doesn't happen very often in the sport of triathlon. Yeah, I don't think I've done a race with $1 million prize purse. Right? Who has? I guess like back in the day when I was a lot younger, I remember Des Moines Hy-Vee Ironman. Yep. Did you do the Hy-Vee one back then? No, I would have been definitely too young, but I remember knowing Emma Snowsill winning it. Yep. A few of the Aussies definitely cashed in. Simon Whitfield. Greg Brad Carlefelt. Yeah, Laura and Greg both did well there. Yeah. Yeah, so it's pretty amazing that such good prize money at this race. Very fun. And when you look down the start list, you got people from ITU, you got people from 70.3, you got people from full. The distance 100K is a little shorter than 70.3, longer than Olympic. So there's not a lot of track record to go on who's going to do what in this race. Yeah, definitely. I think that obviously there's a lot of the guys that have done the Collins Cup and they raced over that distance, and there's been a few different distances played out, over the years. In Daytona we did it, yeah. Yeah, so I think there is a few people who've had that experience, but it is so similar to the 70.3. So I think you can kind of know where you're at and hopefully go a little bit faster than you would over 70.3 distance. Do you think that
the 20-meter draft rule makes a difference in this type? Because it's like the multiple loops on the bike, and you got, what, 3 climbs per lap, something like that?
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I think that, it's great that there's a 20-meter draft rule, because I guess it can kind of hopefully break it up a little bit more and make it more of an individual effort, which, moving across from short course to middle distance, that's what, I was kind of after as well. Obviously the swim is still always important, but it's not the end of your race, right? You can still show your strength over the swim, the bike and the run. So I think that 20-meter draft rule kind of helps, separate it a little bit more perhaps.
So when this last couple years, you were still sort of mixing and matching a little bit, some WTSs, you're heading into the Olympics, and Olympic experience. Now, was this the first Olympics for you?
No, I was in Rio too.
Yeah, you got to go to Rio as well.
Yeah.
And how did this one compare? Obviously, there's no people there, so it made it tough. Well, actually, the triathlon, there were some crowds there.
Yeah, I guess because the triathlon, was just on the roads there, so maybe
outside,
people were allowed to come out for a little bit. I'm not sure, but the Tokyo experience was quite strange. The lead up in Australia was interesting because it was very still in and out of lockdowns, and it was quite unsettling at times. And obviously, it was a very different experience being just in a little bubble in the Tokyo village.
Right.
But looking forward to Paris, I'm finished with short course now, but I think everyone will be excited for that games because it looks pretty spectacular, and hopefully it'll be uninterrupted, and everyone will have a good time and be able to see the country.
So, but for sure, not thinking Paris.
Oh, look, no, I think that I've made the switch now, and I think the thing with short course is it's really hard to go back even if you want to, especially in a federation like Australia, because there's so many athletes, and my world ranking's probably already plummeted just from
to try to get starts would
starts would be difficult. But I think the only thing that would tempt me, I was saying to my fellow Australian Aaron just today, I probably would be tempted by a mixed relay, because I always enjoyed being part of the mixed relay team, but that might be difficult just to get an opportunity. I'm not sure, and obviously going a bit longer, I still feel like I've got some speed, like my speed's quite good, but I've been enjoying what I'm doing in middle distance, so I'm happy to focus on that.
Well, and as a ITU athlete, and I'm sure these aren't totally up to date, but 77 starts, 30 podiums, 10 wins. I mean, that's a lot of racing at that format. So you've done your time.
Yeah, I did, and I did a lot of racing. I had I really have really fond memories of my junior career. I was at my first Junior Worlds when I was 16 years old, so I'm 31 now. So once I started, my first World Series race was 2011, so I had a good chunk of time doing short course, and there was definitely some times where I didn't have the best of times, and it was difficult, but I have such fond memories of that time and amazing experiences and some great races in there too. So I didn't finish my short course career how I wanted to, and I guess sometimes part of me this year, it's been a little bit difficult to process, and I think that at times I've still been processing that, but I think that if I stayed in short course trying to finish my career the way with the way I wanted to.
Everybody's always looking. Really, the only way you could really finish it is to win the Olympic gold.
Yeah, do something like a spectacular. But I think that if I kept trying to do that, maybe I could, have an amazing World Series result or do something I wanted to do. But maybe I couldn't, and maybe I wouldn't, and I would miss opportunities like this race.
Right, this race, and
So it's just I've decided to. Focus on the middle distance racing this year, and I don't have any regrets, and I've been really enjoying training, the racing, and really loving triathlon, so I can't complain.
Well, when you look at like you said, the variety of races on a racetrack and hilly, and you've won Alcatraz twice. It seems like you're looking for, you love the sport of triathlon, and you want the whole salad bar. You want to try a little bit of all of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that, you know, when I focus on, you know, my race calendar in years to come, I can look back at experiences like this and I can see, you know, I want to go back here, or I want to do that, or I wanted to go to in Elsinore. You know, people told me great things about the race, but it was also a European Championship field, so you know that was something that I wanted to look for too. So yeah,
it's a draw as well because you want to race the best.
Exactly. So
you get to do that on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely.
The field is just amazing.
Yeah, it's great. And I've obviously raced a few girls now, more than I had back at Clash.
Yes.
But there's still so many athletes that I haven't raced.
You haven't met before, I bet.
Exactly. So I think that there's plenty of the ITU girls that I know. There's a lot of fast swimmers here.
Yes.
Yeah, there's definitely a really great swim field. And, you know, obviously there's people that are, you know, Ironman 70.3 World Championship podiums and, you know, some hugely talented Ironman athletes who are also successful in the 70.3. So I think the dynamic is going to be really interesting. And I think that you can't really pick how it's going to go.
No.
It could be anyone's race, really.
Being as young as you are, the fact that you've moved into 70.3 now, do you see yourself going to the full distance? Do you see yourself focusing on 70.3? What do you see down the line?
Yeah, I'm not sure. If you would have asked me at the start of the year about Ironman, I would have just laughed at you. And I still think it's a little bit crazy. It's a very long day.
It is a very long day.
But I don't know, there's parts of me this year, like Andorra, that took 4 hours 50 or something.
Yeah.
Because it's 2,000 meters of elevation, you know, at an altitude too. So it was a long day out.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, if I did an Ironman, how many more hours would that be? Maybe
That's
that
4
won't be too
more
bad.
hours, 3 something. No big deal, 9 hours. You can do
That's
that.
what I think. And I watch things like Kona and I'm hugely inspired. And I'm like, I want to do that.
You want to do it one day, right?
And then the next day, and then, no, that's ridiculous. But
you know what's so funny? Holly Lawrence hasn't done a full yet. And, you know, because one of the problems is if you want to do Kona, which is one everyone wants to do, you've got to go qualify. You've got to basically adapt your whole season to doing the build to the full Ironman to then train, if you do qualify, to go to Kona, right? Your whole season becomes that. And she goes, that's the hard, because I don't want to give up everything else I'm doing. But I said, so if someone would give you a wild card today to Kona, would you take it? And she was like, F yeah, I'd go tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that, it is difficult in terms of the Ironman distance because, it is so long and the preparation is...
Yep, and the recovery.
Yeah, you can't race as much. But I would say I'm sure that I'll be on an Ironman start list at some point, I think.
Exactly.
But I don't know when. And it's not really something I've thought hugely about because I've just been enjoying this initial transition to middle distance.
Yes. And it seems like when you've made the transition to middle distance, it was not as, okay, I'm going to do this. It's more like you're taking a little bit by ear. You're sort of like, I feel like doing that race, and I'll go to that race.
Yeah, and I think that, as you said, I had done a couple of 70.3s and obviously Alcatraz, Beijing, and Noosa Tri every year. But, I didn't do those 70.3s hugely prepared.
Right.
I was always focused on short
Of
course,
course.
and that was my priority. And, that was just what I was fully focused on.
Right.
And when I made the change this year, I know that some people could do it. Like you look at Christian and a few other athletes, and they can do it all.
It's
but
amazing. Yeah.
That's different. I don't think I'm someone like that. I personally, I just knew that if I wanted to make the change, I needed to I didn't want to still try and I didn't want to do both. I wanted to go all in on one. So, that was the decision. Yeah.
It was interesting talking to Christian and Gustav yesterday. They're both, we'll do Ironman, do Kona, and then we'll do a couple WTS races right after that, and then we won't do another Ironman till after Paris.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's going from long to short is really hard, I think. It's very difficult. I remember a number of years ago, Chris McCormick tried, I'll come back and make the Aussie Olympic team.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Remember that? And
yeah.
He was running 30-30 off the bike and coming in 40th or whatever.
Yeah.
It's hard to go from long back to short.
Yeah, I imagine so. I think that yeah, it's very different, and I think that I probably wouldn't even be able to do that if I wanted to. Just like I said, there's so many other Australian girls, and I don't think I could just get subbed in or anything like that. Christian's got an Olympic gold medal, so I'm
he
sure
can do whatever he wants.
Probably. I think that's plays well for him. And I hugely respect how he can actually do that. But I just wanted to make sure that when I changed, I focused on the middle distance, and I look at things for Paris and it looks amazing, and I look at Kona each year, or some of the great Ironman races, and I think that's inspiring too. But I will just play it by ear, and I think that I've got a good calendar this year, and I've been really focused on even just trying to get here. I put the PTO Tour on my race calendar at the start of the year when it was when it was first announced, and I just was kind of like, well, I hope I can get there. I hadn't done anything yet, but I'm sitting here now. I'm at Canada, and
ranked number 17 in the world, something like that.
Yeah, and I plan to do Dallas. I'm sure my ranking will still be good enough for that. So I'm just happy that I can be here, because this was definitely a race that I was eyeing off at the start of the year.
Are you going to 70.3 the Worlds in 70.3?
No, I won't.
You don't want to do that?
No, I qualified in Oceanside, and a couple of times as after that too, but I didn't take my slot. I just decided that this year I've already done trip to America and back, this Europe trip and back, and I'm also getting married. So
when do you guys get married?
In November.
How fun! Oh yeah, you don't want to be traveling in October.
Anyway. Well, when we postponed our wedding because of the pandemic last year, Worlds was still in September.
Right.
So
that's true. Yeah.
We changed our wedding, and now it got pushed
back till late October.
Yeah. So I definitely want to focus on 70.3 Worlds next year.
Right.
It will be in Finland. And then it will be in New Zealand. So I'm eyeing off that New Zealand one for sure, because it's in my part of the world.
Exactly.
Everyone can come travel down under, and I'll be happy with that.
I love it. Always such a pleasure to catch up with you, Ashleigh.
Thank you.
Have a great race on Saturday.
Yes, thanks. Nice to chat, Bob.
Always a pleasure. Ashleigh Gentle has been our guest, everybody. Again, Breakfast with Bob from beautiful Edmonton, Canada. Hold on, everybody. We will be right